Show has time. Looks for Deutsch. Deutsch at the one into the end zone.
Comes on to serve. Dug out by Bishop. This to the middle and slamming one home for...
And free ball to the crossover. Eilertson will get the pass for Hawley. Set up left side. Rusted down with the kill.
He'll play action now. Look to pass over the middle. It's intercepted by Cole Hebel. Intercepted by Hebel, and he brings it back.
Set it up, Boston left side. Big kill blocked at the net. Kept alive by the Greyhounds.
Fetting's got room, and here's Bo Fetting. Fetting's still on his feet. Fetting's gone. Bo.
The Your Live Event Coaches Show is presented by the Hillsborough Economic Development Committee.
Hello again. Welcome to the Hillsborough EDC Coaches Show on YourLiveEvent.com. I'm Joe Lancello. We'll be talking Minnesota high school football as the regular season wraps up. We'll talk with Peder Naatz from Hawley and also PJ Peterson from Lake Park Audubon. We'll talk a little high school volleyball with Brenda Slyt from Fisher Climax. We'll also talk about the North Dakota State Cross Country meet. Kirk Zink of Hillsborough Central Valley will be leading quite a delegation to Jamestown on Friday for the State Cross Country meet. But first, we'll talk about the North Dakota 9-man football playoffs, which will get into the round of 16 this weekend. I had a chance to talk with Mitch Greenwood of Cavalier, but we'll start with Larry Fontaine of Maple River. Chase Miller spoke with him.
Join us now on the Your Live Event Coaches Show as Maple River head football coach Larry Fontaine after their first round win against the Richland Colts, and now they go up against number 1 and top seeded Lemoore Litchfield Marion Lobos in Lemoore coming up on Saturday afternoon. And Larry, before we talk about the Lobos, let's recap what happened on Saturday in Hope in that win over the Richland Colts. A first drive of the game, I had to double check again, 18 plays over 10 minutes, 69 yards, you go down the field and you're able to score that touchdown. When you see that offensively to start as a coach, where you're getting 3 yards here, 4 yards there, pop a big play, what's going through your mind a little bit on that particular drive?
Good morning, Chase. How are you?
Doing well, Larry, doing well.
Well, that's how we wanted to start the game when Clay came up to me and, hey, we won the toss, coach. We want the ball, right? Yeah, we want the ball, but and our goal was to keep them off the field. We watched tape of them against Hankinson, and they ran the ball. Wolfkill carried 40 times. Our goal was just to keep him off the field and keep our offense on. Yeah, we had the ball 10 and a half minutes. It was a great drive. Kids just ran the ball, and that's kind of our MO, what we wanted to do.
Clay Holvelson went over it again, 150 yards rushing for you guys. But I think that the big thing was the Silling brothers, T and Wyatt, hooked up a couple times for touchdowns. And Wyatt also had a couple big sacks, particularly maybe when there was a turnover on downs or a fumble once when Richland started in your territory. So how about the senior that maybe we haven't talked about enough at particular times this year? And Wyatt Silling, it seemed like he had a really nice day on Saturday afternoon.
Yeah, Wyatt had a nice day. We talked earlier in the week where I ribbed him a little bit. I told him that he was going to get 2 sacks and that his brother T was going to get 3. And he didn't like that too much. He's like, what? Coach, what do you mean? Well, I don't know. I just didn't mean to, but, he took it kind of personally. He's like, no. So maybe that was a little incentive. I think his brother seeing the field a little more. His first year playing was his 10th game, I believe, on our 9th game. We're 6-3, his 9th game. And seeing the field a little more, and his brother's deceptively fast, and they've probably been playing catch since they were, 3 or 4 years old. Who knows? In the backyard, probably throwing them 10,000 passes, and you could see it. They're really close. It's a lot of fun, and they're coming around. They're good football players.
And the one thing, too, for you guys, I know you've been, quote-unquote, outmanned up front offense and defensive line if you're talking about maybe size and weight just as a collective unit. But it just seemed like on Saturday, Connor Dahl, the Satrams of Calvin and Liam, they really had a quality afternoon. And going up against Lemoore, Larry, that obviously will have to continue having your backers make tackles defensively, offensively, finding the hole and get the 2-3 yards when you can and push the pile forward. But how about those guys? How have you seen the line kind of come together here late in the season?
Well, that was Connor's second game ever as an offensive guard. We had some issues there with our starter our first 7 games, and He got sick. He missed some time, and we needed a guard. Connor, you're going to be a guard. And he took it, didn't complain, didn't say anything. He's like, yeah, okay, coach. And so we made him a guard against Mapel. He's played there 2 games. He's a good little athlete, tough little kid, and loves football and plays hard. And Liam last year was our quarterback. And at camp this year, I looked at the kids when we went to Valley City. I'm like, hey, we don't have a line. We need a line. And I looked at them up and down, and I'm like, well, all right, Calvin, you're the biggest kid we got. You want to play line? He's like, not really. I'm like, well, do you want to play? Yeah, I want to play. Well, you're the biggest kid we got, bud. So we made him a guard, and then our center didn't like it. And so when season started, Calvin, we need a center. All right. So, hats off to him and Connor and Liam. They didn't want to be linemen. Nobody wants to be a lineman. They don't get any praise. They don't get any glory. But without them, we don't win.
Without question. And now you're going up against a line that's awfully big, awfully quick. We know that going from last season. You knew that coming to start the year as well. And remember, you embraced it back in August, going, if someone has to play the defending state champ in preseason #1, why not us? It's a parameter type of a game. You have a second chance at them, this time on the road, Larry. So what do you remember from the first game? And just particularly, I know Lemore's got weapons. So I know you're not going to give us the whole point of view in terms of what you're going to try to take away, but where does it start with Lamore Litchmere, and what do you have to do well right off the bat come quarter #1 on Saturday afternoon in Lamore?
Geez. No. Why not us though, right? We're just glad we're glad we get to practice. We get one more week of football. Seniors get one more week of football, and we want another crack at them. Well, we know how good they are, and someone has to play them. What do we have to do? Line up against them and try to go man and try to keep Ness from killing us like he has the last 3 years. I won't be sad to see him leave next year. See you later, Ness. The guy has destroyed us the last 3 years. And, if we can somehow stop him and stop 16 and then 28, they got a lot of weapons. We're going to run the ball, and that's what we do. And we're going to watch the Mapel tape and see what Mapel did against them. And how Mapel shut down Naatz. I don't know if we can do it. We're going to give it our best shot. I know I have the kids that will work hard. We're going to have a great week of practice, and they're going to do their best and see what we can do against them.
Final thing for you, Larry, before you let you go here on the Coaches Show. And I know it was a goal to get to this point of the season. You've continued to check mark some of those goals, but how big was it of that win on Hope on Saturday afternoon? First year of a co-op. You've said it time and time again. These kids, you had no idea that they played against each other last season. Some could hold grudges, and they just came in and got to work right away when you guys got together in Valley City and started early August in fall camp as well. But how important was that for first year of a co-op with the Hope Page school districts and the Maple Valley school districts to, get to the postseason, get a win, and now, make some noise here in the 9B playoffs?
Well, I think it's great for our program moving forward. Kids are kids, and the kids love football and they want to play, and I'm proud of them. I mean, I'm more proud of these guys than a lot of the other teams I've coached because of that adversity they had to face, and they came together this year with a goal to get to the playoffs and get a victory. And I think it's just going to bring our kids closer together, all of our programs closer together, and our communities, our towns, and our kids. I mean, it was great. It was a great atmosphere. We gave up 98 total yards on Saturday. Came out and, played a really tough football game against a really good football team. Wolfkill had over 1,100 yards rushing, and our kids just came out and played hard. We're a family. We became an extended family. And I think our communities are getting closer together. And like I said, I'm proud of them. It was a really great time.
Hey, Larry, as always, thank you so much throughout the season, and best of luck coming up here in Lamore, coming up on Saturday afternoon in the second round of the 9B playoffs.
I appreciate it, Chase. Thanks a lot for all you do.
That again, head coach for Maple River, Larry Fontaine, on the Your Live Event Coaches Show.
Hillsborough Economic Development Committee provides information and a support for small businesses. Experience Hillsborough. More at 104.
It's playoff time in North Dakota high school football. Mitch Greenwood is the coach of the Cavalier Tornadoes, and the Tornadoes are in the 9B quarterfinals as they take on North Star this coming Saturday. Mitch, you had a bye this past week. How did you deal with things during that week?
Well, coming off our last regular season game, we had played a pretty tight game against North Border, so we used our bye week just to kind of heal up and there's some minor bumps and bruises. We're fairly healthy, so that's a positive. But just to get some time off was nice. And then we just kind of went to work. We didn't know who our opponent would be until the first round games were over. So we just kind of went to work trying to make ourselves better, work on the things that we need to get better at as a team. Then to keep the kids sharp, we did some live scrimmage type stuff later in the week, but now this week, we know that North Star is our opponent and we're preparing for them. We've watched some film on them yesterday and we're going to go back to work today, just like a normal practice week.
Now you've got some pretty good credentials of your own. You're number 4 seed in the tournament, ranked in the top 5 in the state in 9B football. Talk about how your season has gone.
Our season has gone well. We had a kind of a unique situation this year where we started off with a couple of 11-man games for our non-conference schedule. That was kind of a blessing in disguise. We would have liked to have played a full 9-man schedule, but in those 11-man games, we got to sneak some extra kids onto the field and get some varsity experience, which has helped us to provide us with some depth. And we know what kids that we can rely on in big game situations. Throughout the course of the year, we've been fortunate, as I said, to stay healthy. We've got a real good senior group. We've got 6 seniors. All 6 of them start. 5 of them start 2 ways for us. And, they've been just tremendous leaders on and off the field. And they've kind of been the catalyst to get us to this position in the season where we're 8-0 with the first round bye and now ready to try to make another playoff push.
And those seniors have been part of a lot of success for you. You've played in a state championship game each of the last 3 years.
Yeah. This senior group has been pretty special. We won the region championship game in our last game that we played against North Border, which they're our cross-county rivals. So that was a big game. But, we started looking at some statistics, and this group of seniors, they have never lost a regular season game over the course of 4 years. And, they've only lost 3 games ever. And unfortunately, they've all come in the state championship. So I think they're something like 45-3 over the course of the last 4 years. So that's a pretty remarkable achievement for this group. And these, you talk about seniors having a good career like that, but some of these kids have played since their freshman year. 2 of these kids started in the state championship game as freshmen. So they really have been contributors all the way through.
What are the strong points of your team? I want to say defense would seem to be a good indicator of that with 4 shutouts in the 8 games during the season.
Absolutely. Our defense has really stepped up this year. That's something that we really try to pride ourselves on. And, I've coached at different levels, but I think the 9-man football scene kind of get a rap that, hey, it's going to be a shootout. There's going to be a lot of points scored. And we try to hang our hats on playing some defense. And, a lot of times you see some 9-man scores that are 54-48 type scores. And
scores.
Yeah, a lot of the teams like to play in those types of games, and our mentality really is that no, we want to stop that other defense, keep those points off the board, stop the other offense with our defense, keep their points low, and and then that's going to open up some scoring opportunities for our offense. This year, as I mentioned, we've got a good senior group. We've really got kind of a 3-headed monster with our quarterback, Sterling Enerson, running back, Jake Steele, and then kind of a do-everything type player with Landon Carter. Those 3 have combined for almost 45 touchdowns this year, and they just really make up the heart of our offense and defense.
What's been going well for your offense this season?
We're pretty balanced. We we do have quite a few. I guess we've got about 30 rushing touchdowns on the season, and about 15 through the air. So Sterling Enerson has kind of led the offense at the quarterback position. It's the first year that he stepped in as quarterback for us. Kind of a unique situation. I think that this is the 5th or 6th year in a row that we've started a new quarterback, and they've all been seniors, and they come in for 1 year and managed to do a pretty good job, and then they're done. But Sterling's been no different. He stepped in. He's thrown for almost 1,000 yards. I think he's got about 12 touchdowns. Has not thrown an interception to this point, and then he's also our leading rusher yardage wise too. So he's kind of been a leader for us offensively.
Do you run a lot of option stuff then?
We do some read options, but we've got Jake Steele and Landon Carter in the backfield, so we try to get them the ball a lot, and then Sterling will run some read option off of some of those handoffs. But it's not a lot of option stuff, I guess. So, but again, we try to have a nice balance between rushing and passing.
You mentioned you've got North Star as your opponent this weekend. You've seen some video. What can you tell us about them?
They've got some nice athletes on their team. They've got a quarterback that can throw the ball quite a ways, and they've got some nice receivers to throw it to. We've been really impressed with their tailback on film. And then they've got a real big lineman, Prouty kid, that he kind of anchors their line on the offense and defense. He plays center for them, and he plays on the defensive line. He's a big kid that we're going to have to account for on every play on both sides of the ball.
The road to the Dakota Bowl is never an easy one, and looking ahead a little bit, Mayport is a possible opponent in the quarterfinal in the next round, and then there's number 1 ranked Lemoore too. So if you guys are able to get there for a 4th straight year, you will really have earned it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think this year, maybe even more so than in the past couple of years, I think that this playoff field is really deep. I think that there's quite a few teams in there that could really make some noise. So we're just going to have to take things 1 week at a time and be on top of our game. And we look at the bracket, but we try not to get too far ahead of ourselves. At this time of the year, there's a lot of things that can happen. There's injuries, there's upsets, and there's things that might shake things up. So we just try to focus 1 week at a time, and then after this week, if we're fortunate enough to advance, then we'll look to see who we have next week.
And let's face it, at this stage, everybody's good.
They are, absolutely.
And the Cavalier Tornadoes, we'll see where they wind up. They again will be hosting North Star on Saturday. That game is in Cavalier?
Yes, we're playing at 1 o'clock in Cavalier at Rod Oxendale Field. And I believe there's some pregame tailgating stuff going on. The game will be streamed on NFHS, I believe, and probably on the radio on KNDK. But I'm not 100% positive on that.
All right. We'll be following the Cavalier Tornadoes as they go. Mitch Greenwood, thank you so much for your time.
All right. Thank you.
We'll continue on the Hillsborough EDC Coaches Show right after this.
Lee Brothers Sales, Highway 9 in Ada, invites you to order your new Buick and Chevrolet vehicles. From the Silverado, Trailblazers, Traverse, and Enclave, Lee Brothers is your authorized Chevrolet and Buick dealer, providing sales and a service to the area since 1975. For ordering your vehicles, talk with Mitch, Smurf, or Jay. Trust the experts who know your vehicles best and take advantage of great Chevy certified service offers today. Lee Brothers Sales, Highway 9, Ada, 218-784-2000.
Hey, what you doing?
Crawling around under my planter trying to figure out if I need any maintenance parts replaced.
It's harvest time, buddy.
Yeah, I know, but the guys at RDK Enterprises keep reminding me to check now, just in case I need something ordered.
What do I look for?
Just give RDK a call and ask some questions. They are the guys I go to for answers.
This is Chris from RDK Enterprises, your local precision planting dealer. We will answer all of your planter questions or come out to your farm and take a look at your planter. Give us a call, 701-636-2119 or planterdoc.com.
There's more at 104. Hillsborough, North Dakota has everything you need on your next road trip. Food, fuel, fun, and family-friendly activities. Stop by and fill up your tank or grab a bite to eat. Have a blast at Goose River Golf Club, the swimming pool, or one of our beautiful parks. There's even ice skating and cross-country skiing. Take in the sights or stay the night so you don't miss a thing. Experience Hillsboro and see why there's more at 104.
Now we'll be talking about high school cross country in North Dakota. The state Class B meet is coming up on Friday in Jamestown. Hillsboro Central Valley has a strong delegation led by the individual champion and Kirk Zink, the coach of the Burros cross country teams. Very happy to talk about his squads.
On the Hillsboro EDC Coaches Show, we are joined now by Kirk Zink, the coach of the Hillsboro Central Valley cross country teams, the boys and girls both with good runs at the qualifying meet for the East Side on Saturday. Kirk, congratulations.
Well, thanks a lot. It was an eventful day. Let's just say that. It little cooler than we're used to. But on the same token, kids ran well. If you go into cross country season and you don't expect to be running in 40-degree weather or 35-degree weather, you're kidding yourself. So we got what we typically get, and it was a fun day for sure.
Had to be especially fun for Christian Brist as he was the overall champion at a time of 16:21, which sounds like it's a really good time.
Yeah, Christian is a good kid. He's a kid that he won the regional meet a couple years ago, got upset last year and was frustrated about it, and rightfully so. He came back this year and has worked really, really hard. He's got some really good practice partners that push him every single day. But in his head, Christian is probably the most ornery kid I've ever worked with. He's super dedicated, super committed, works awfully hard. But on the same token, with Christian, it's mental. You know, Christian is mentally just there's no way around it. He's ornery. He's just doesn't like to lose. You know, he knows what's going on in a race. He knows when he's got it. He knows when he doesn't. Even on the days that he doesn't, you know, he's still awfully tough to beat. And it's going to be fun watching the next week and see how it shakes out with him.
That's an interesting description for a cross-country runner. We kind of have the image of people who run long distances as being calm and serene.
Not Christian. No, we've got, he's a kid that you go back to 8th grade, you know, and 7th grade was a growing year for him. 8th grade, he got to the point that he'd come by me on a course and I'd yell at him. I'd go, Christian, you're in 85th place. And he'd turn his head and look at me in disgust and just gone. And, make his way up where he wanted to be. And he's gotten better and better. And it's interesting to think that the kid's only a junior, you know, and he's contended for a state title for a couple of years now. And he's right there in contention again this year. You know, you go into the state meet this weekend. He's, most would say he's a 50-50 kid next weekend. Austin Warner from Bowman is a stud, really, really good senior that's got a ton of running experience, has run really well this year. He and Christian have never seen each other, so it's going to be fun to watch how it plays out on Friday.
Listening to the coverage after the East region, it sounded like you were really impressed with the way that Jake White ran. He came in 7th overall.
Yeah, he was. And, you know, and my interview was awfully quick on Saturday because I visited for a little bit, and then we wanted to get Jake his interview quick before he went up on the award stand. And by that point, we were done and over with and moved on. But Jake just absolutely killed it on Saturday. You know, Jake is a kid that's been around forever, you know, and a lot of times you see kids plateau. You know, you see kids that'll hit puberty as a freshman, sophomore, whatever else. They'll slowly work their way up to their peak. And hopefully they can hang there for, 2 or 3 years. Well, with Jake, you know, he took a huge leap forward this year, which you just don't see all the time. You know, it's work and it's Christian running out in front of him all the time. It's Nico and Henry pushing him every day. And a huge part of it is he's got 2 young kids coming behind him. You know, Rylan Buchholz and Trey Johnson are 2 young kids that have been breathing down his neck for the last 3 months. And that pushes you, you know, when you got 2 young kids coming to steal your spot. You're going to work harder. You just naturally are. And he absolutely led us on Saturday. yeah, Christian won the race, but for Jake to finish seventh, 17:49 or 17:50, something like that, his goal had been to run sub 18, and he ran roughly 18 minutes earlier in the year, 10, 11 seconds faster on Saturday. And I'm excited to see how he runs on Friday. He's a real leader. He's a positive kid. He's a good motivator for the rest of his teammates. But on the same token, Jake knows he's got to worry about number one. He's got to go out and run for him. And he did that on Saturday. His goal was to be an all-region kid. Well, he runs like that again. He's an all-state kid this weekend, and that would be quite the cherry on top of his cross-country career. That's for sure.
Another top kids for you were Nico Zink, whom I'm assuming is your son.
Nico is, yeah. Nico's my 95-pound freshman son that he had an eventful day on Saturday. He was an all-region kid last year as an 8th grader, which doesn't happen very often. Went out realistically, with kids that size and that age, he could be as high as probably 5th or 6th. He could be as low as probably 30th, and you just don't know, with when you don't have the physical strength of a kid like Christian or Jake or Henry Nelson, you got a lot more room for fluctuation. And got lost mid-race. 7-8 kids, from Lisbon and Kindred and Hillsboro, took a little veered the wrong direction in one spot, and got frustrated. For him to battle back to 14th was nice to see. He didn't let it bother him too much, but he let it bother him enough. He let himself kind of get out of that comfort zone. And I'm excited to see how Nico runs on Friday, because he knows that, to be a 2-time all-region kid, by the time you're a freshman, that's abnormal. Most boys can't pull that off, but he's frustrated with how he ran. He just is. He's a kid that wanted to be up in that mid-single digits, and certainly could have. The beauty is he's only a freshman, so he's got years left. And the bigger beauty is the fact that that's not the race that matters. The race that matters is on Friday, and he's going to run well. He's had a nice couple of days to start off the week. And like I said, it's going to be fun for these kids on Friday. Nice weather, the way it looks.
And one more senior, Henry Nelson, is going to be going as well. Or your squad.
Henry and Nico have been terrific practice partners all year. And those two partners, unfortunately, 90% of the year they've had terrific days. They've leaned on each other. You take our top 10 boys and our top 10 girls, they will readily admit, and I ask the kids all the time, I'm like, do you want me to sugarcoat things and keep you super light and cheery and positive? And they said, no, I want you to be honest. And they know they didn't run well. Henry and Nico both, those two have been our 2 and 3 all year long, but they didn't run well on Saturday, and they know it. Henry in particular just had some minor things that are pretty easy fixes, and he's a little bit like Christian in that he's ornery. He's tough. These are physical kids. Jake, Henry, Christian, they're older, stronger kids that they can will their way to certain finishes. And he didn't run well on Saturday, but I'll tell you what, he's absolutely looking for redemption on Friday. He's talked about it. We've had a couple really good conversations, and he'll absolutely be ready to go Friday afternoon.
And you've got a couple of girls who are going as well. The Calder sisters, Mila, who's in 10th grade, and Lily, who's in 8th grade.
3 sets of sisters. We got 2 Calder sisters, we got 2 Johnson sisters, and we got 2 Sawry sisters that could very well make up our top 6. But yeah, Mila and Lily, it's interesting. The 2 are polar opposites. They don't have the same personality. They don't have the same competitive spirit. But they're both runners. They're both terrific runners. Lily is substantially more laid back, substantially more calm, at least up front she is. She might just be bubbling inside, but substantially more calm and cool out front. But yeah, Mila's been a stud for us for a couple of years now, but has had some unbearable injury issues all year long, and she's been dealing with that. She hasn't practiced a lot. She didn't get much mileage in over the summer because of it. You know, it's kid I feel terrible for, but on the same token, she's an all-region runner as a sophomore with only running a couple races, and she has a very realistic chance to be an all-state runner on Friday. It was kind of interesting watching the race. Mila's the older, more experienced sister, got out to a little bit of a lead. Like anybody else who doesn't have a ton of mileage in, you know, things got tough at the 2 mile mark, 2.5 mile mark, and her sister caught up to her. Well, if anybody else had caught up to her, I don't know if Mila goes with, or I don't know if she picks the pace up or if she finishes as hard, but I see Mila look over to her right and she sees it, it's Lily and gone. And we had the conversation that if you have the ability to go, you got to go. It shouldn't be because your sister's on top of you. You know what I mean? And those two push each other well. It's going to be fun with those guys for the next couple of years. And more importantly, it's going to be fun watching those two this weekend. They've been big game racers. They're kids that have just they've looked forward to these kind of races and the fun involved. And that's the kicker with this entire girls team. We talk about it all the time that, you know, if you're not in this to have fun, you know, if it's that much stress and that much anxiety and that overwhelming, we don't want you to do it, you know, and they love it. You know, the fun of it, the competitive part of it, the practices, they're great teammates, terrific kids to have around. And I'm excited for Friday with those guys.
Now, how many make it to be all-state?
Top 20 kids are all-state runners. You know, and you can sit back and look at the numbers, and we had to have the conversation when we climbed back on the bus Saturday after the race. You know, you take the Calder girls who were 15th and 17th, you know, you talk proportions, you know, if you're 15th in the region, 2 regions, you know, you're probably 30th in the state. Well, that's not the way it works. You know, I've seen a number of scenarios, my own kids included, who have finished higher at the state meet than they finished at the region meet, you know, and typically the West has been a little better on the boys' side and the East has been substantially better on the girls' side. But that stuff is so cyclical, you know, that can make spins from one direction to another. So on the girls' side, I mean, shoot, if you're a 15th or 17th or 19th or 20th or whatever, you've got just as much ability to be an all-state kid on Saturday as a kid that was 5th or 40th. It's just, it's an open race. You get onto a neutral site like we've got there in Jamestown. You get a little hill involved and you might get a little weather involved, and all of a sudden, you know, you got 50 kids competing to be in the top 20. You realistically do.
Have you run that course in Jamestown before this season?
Too many times, to be honest with you. It's the permanent site now for a while. I don't know how long that's going to last, but they did a pretty good job getting this course ready, building this course. There's been a lot of conversation for years about a permanent state cross-country site. Some people like it, some people don't. I will readily admit I fall into that second category. I like the idea of a rotation. You know, I like you know, the fact that, you know, you can go up to Jamestown, or you can go up to Grand Forks and it's quick and it's fast and it's flat. You can go out to Dickinson and it's substantially hillier. You can go up to Minot and it's a different trip up there. They've got a big hill. I like the idea of things being different. But on the same token, you know, we run at the Bowl in Bismarck every year and everybody loves it. And I do too, you know, so there's positives and negatives both ways. This course in Jamestown used to be awfully rough. I thought it used to be awfully rough. It's gotten substantially better. The one thing I don't like about it is kids love the idea of fans and friends and family on top of them every step of the way. You know, Cooperstown on Saturday, you know, you didn't run 5 steps without fans near you. I mean, you just didn't. There were fans everywhere. They could, you know, without running even, they could find you at 5, 6, 7 different spots. It's not that way in Jamestown. It's a lot tougher to get back into the areas where you might see kids, you know, so they do spend a lot more time by themselves, which if you're used to that and comfortable with that, maybe you love it. I'm not. I like the idea, and I'm going to be running through the bushes and cockleburs and up and down the hills and yelling and screaming at the kids. But, you know, there's a lot of fans that won't, you know, so from a fan standpoint, and I get that we don't run for the fans, you know, we run for the kids, but on the same token, the kids love the fans. They want those fans there and the motivation and the excitement and the noise and whatever else. But regardless, it's where we're running this year. I don't know what this is going to look like going forward. I know Grand Forks would like to host again. I know there's some schools out west that would like to host again at some point. So we'll see how it goes from here. But yeah, we've seen the course in Jamestown a handful of times. We're actually heading there this afternoon. We're actually going to hold our practice out there this afternoon. It's a public recreation area. So we're going to go enjoy the public recreation area north of Jamestown. And if we can happen to figure out what the course looks like, we're going to do that while we're there.
All right. This is Friday, the big day for the North Dakota Class B State Cross Country Meet. Kirk, thanks very much, and best of luck to your runners.
Absolutely. I appreciate the time. I really do. Anytime we can get publicity for a sport like cross country, we'll certainly take it.
All right. We'll have more on the Hillsborough EDC Coaches Show after this.
Hillsborough Economic Development Committee supports businesses in the Hillsborough community in the form of loans and grants. Experience Hillsborough. There's more at 104.
We continue with the Hillsborough EDC Coaches Show on YourLiveEvent.com. We're talking now with Brenda Slyt, the coach of the Climax-Fisher volleyball team. Brenda, we're talking before your regular season finale with Ada Borup West that was played on Tuesday night. How's your season been going?
I think our season's been going great. You know, the girls are playing hard. They've grown so much this year on and off the court. And, you know, it's just exciting to see just that overall growth that the girls have had and the success they've seen this season.
What have been the strong points of your team?
You know, we have great chemistry. The girls get along very well. You know, I've said this from night to night, you know, if you watched our team, you wouldn't even be able to tell that we have a 7th grader all the way up to senior. So we have a wide range of players that mesh very well and they work together well and they're happy for each other.
Grade 7, that's unusual. I take it. I don't know if that's numbers or if it's there on merit. Tell me about her.
Well, her name's Peyton Hoffman. She's a 7th grade middle hitter. She's leading us, you know, on the offensive end with her kills. She plays great defense. She's kind of that go-to player that our setter, Sophia Nesvig, you know, sets to when she's in the front row, and she brings a lot of energy on and off the court. And, you know, as a 7th grader, she is a great team leader on the court.
Has she been with the team from day one, or was that something that just kind of developed as the year went on?
Nope, she actually has been with the team. She started back row in the beginning of the season, obviously not playing as the libero would come in, but, you know, she got some experience last summer on the 18U team with our JO program. So she's kind of been showing her talent since last summer, and, you know, we kind of went with it this year. And, you know, she has proven that she deserves to be out there, and she plays very well.
Junior Olympic is kind of like to volleyball what American Legion is to baseball or AAU ball is to basketball. How important is that to the Knights program?
You know, it is very important. You know, the girls know that if they want to be successful during season, that they have to put that team or that work in the off season. And, you know, the girls do take the JO program, you know, very, very serious. And I would like them to expand. And, you know, some of the girls that are going to reach out and maybe do some AAU volleyball this summer, I'm hoping that benefits them and it shows even more success for our program next year.
And going to camps, things like that.
Absolutely.
Now, Region 8A is normally a pretty tough one. Where do you see the Knights fitting in there?
You know, obviously, you know, you got the West and the East and the 8A, and we kind of have a tough part of our section, which, you know, right now we're placed between 8th and 9th seed, depending on obviously how our QRFs will end up. But, you know, we do have a really tough part of our section, but, you know, the girls are playing with people, we're playing people close, and we're also coming on top. So I feel like with how unexperienced we are beginning of the season, we've kind of shown that we're getting that experience in and we're coming out on top most nights, and hopefully that goes into the postseason play.
Any idea if you would have a home game to start off with?
We're hoping so. You know, the QRFs are pretty close right now. I think we're 0.2 ahead of Northern Freeze, but we all know that when the QRFs and the seedings start happening, you know, this Wednesday, things may change and we might have some surprises. So we're hoping for that home court advantage, but it's obviously not completely set in stone as to, we'll have to wait for the seeding.
Yeah, QRF isn't something you can probably figure out during the game. The big thing is W's and L's.
Absolutely. And, you know, if you look at it, we do, you know, we're 12-9 for the year. we are sitting pretty well in our section as we're 9-4, and our conference we're 3-5. So, if they take all things into considerations, we have more wins than the 9th seed. But like I've said, that QRF sometimes can be pretty tricky, and we're just hoping that we come out on the high end and be able to host.
Well, we'll see how that works out. We'll be following the Climax-Fisher Naatz volleyball team through the postseason. Brenda, Slyt, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
We'll continue with the Hillsborough EDC Coaches Show on YourLiveEvent.com after these words.
Harvest is here, and that means we all need to be careful. Hello, this is Bethany Rentz with IRE Insurance. We want to make sure everyone up and down the valley has a safe and successful harvest. Take extra special care in your travels. Slow-moving combines, mud-covered roads, and debris are just a few things during harvest that can be dangerous. So take your time, watch your surroundings, and most of all, be patient and slow down. For more harvest safety tips, go to IREINS.com.
You're protected and appreciated at IRE.
IRE Insurance is an equal opportunity provider.
In Hope, North Dakota, we aren't just a town, we're a community, one that you can be proud of, where you and your family can grow. With available jobs, affordable housing, a local golf course and pool, the Sportsman Club, and great educational opportunities, there hasn't been a better time to join the Hope community, ideally located between Fargo, Grand Forks, and Jamestown. For more information, go to www.hopend.com. Live, work, and play in Hope, North Dakota.
Buying a new home, but worried about the interest rate and terms from your bank? At First Class Mortgage, we'll find a mortgage that fits your needs. Shopping national banks and other lenders for the lowest rate and most affordable terms. Saving you time and money. So all you need to worry about is enjoying your new home. First Class Mortgage. Our expertise, your peace of mind. Put an expert to work for you. Call today.
Minnesota's regular high school football season is wrapping up. The playoff terms will be announced later this week. We had a chance to talk with Peder Naatz from Hawley and also PJ Peterson from Lake Park Audubon. Kevin Kochmann spoke with PJ Peterson.
Well, we have the Coaches Show here today with YourLiveEvent.com and KRJB Radio. We have PJ Peterson, head coach of the Lake Park Audubon Raider football team, joining us. Raider football victorious on Friday night, a win over Warroad, and Lake Park Audubon winning 2 in a row. Coach Peterson, we've been talking throughout the season from week 1 to where we sit here now, going into the short week 8 of the high school football season in Minnesota. Lake Park Audubon football has ridden the roller coaster up and down. You've been involved in a lot of good battles. You've had some games you wish you could have back. Now in recent weeks, 2 big victories. Last night, let's talk about it, a win over the Warroad Warriors. Knew they were going to be physical, and you played a physical game yourself. Guys played well and come away with a nice home victory.
Yeah, our guys came out on fire, ready to go. We set the tone from the beginning, and Warroad battled. They were physical. They moved the ball pretty well on offense, and our defense. They bent, but they didn't break. And we got to tighten some things up defensively. Offensively, I think we're starting to hit our stride right now. We started a little slow this season. Played a lot of close games, but I think we're starting to put it together at the right time of the season right now. So.
We had talked about how big of a win 2 weeks ago was on the road against Polk County West, and where that sets your team up for success here. Now looking at the potential of getting to that 500 mark, and from where Lake Park Audubon football was a couple of years ago to getting kids to buy into the type of program you want to lead. A win like last night and back-to-back wins has really boosted the spirits, because even 3 weeks ago when you went to Pine River Bacchus and had them down to the stretch, and guys are buying in, and they just have to fight the good fight.
Yep, exactly. We're the big key here is we're saying believe. Just believe, and we've preached it the past few weeks, and the guys are buying in, and they're starting to feel confident. And you get a couple wins in a row, then they really start to believe. They start to see the results, and that's what's happening right now. And the guy, it's fun. The guys are having fun out there. So it's good to see all the stuff we've preached since August, is coming together, all the little things, and we're putting them out there, and they're starting to be on display night in and night out.
We talk about the game of football, and this goes to any sport, but football specific, you have a week to prepare. You gear up for one game, you have one chance, and it can go south in a hurry, and you can have games that are wild. It's a tough tough thing to figure out. And for fans, you can easily slide away. For the guys to buy in and have to fight through those tough times is really proving that their adversity and these guys are ready to win.
Yes, that was the biggest thing when I came into this program is they're hungry for wins. We just gotta put things together and build a program here, build a culture, and the culture is there. The guys are starting to believe and buy in to not just the stuff on the field, but the stuff off the field. And that's really huge. And I always preach little things. Little things are the difference between good teams and great teams. And we're trying to build a great team, a great program. And they're starting to get those little things down, and it's starting to show on the field. And it's really awesome to see those guys get those wins and build that confidence, because we have struggled in the past, and now we're starting to take that next step. And it's awesome to see we're getting there, and hopefully we get another one on Wednesday and can put some things together in the playoffs.
I had a feeling when we talked in August that the Raiders had a 4-4 type season in it, and that was going to be a growth year for the team. So you got a chance. You're right there, and you got Monaga coming to your place. The Braves are a team that throws football a little bit. I know they played Monoman Wabbit, and the Thunderbirds got them on Friday night. You guys got the World Warriors Friday night. So Wednesday, quick turnaround. What do you know about Monaga as you start getting prepared for Wednesday night's game?
They're a really good team. They're going to give us everything they got. They got a really good quarterback. They're going to throw the ball a little bit, so it's a little bit a polar opposites, I would say, on Wednesday night. We like to run the ball, they like to throw the ball, so it'll be a good game. It's a big section matchup, kind of see where we're at right before the playoffs. They're going to be physical. They're going to come in prepared, hungry for a win, hungry to bounce back. We just gotta keep riding this wave we're on right now, and just come prepared. We got a short week. Just got to focus, get ready, do our thing, and stick to our motto, which is anybody, anytime, any place, spot the ball. And we know they're spotting the ball on Wednesday night at home against Monaga, and that's what we got to focus on. And, they're going to be a good team, and it's going to be a good battle and a good test for us.
You are seeding up for Section 6 football in Class A in Minnesota. And right now, a 4-4 record. And then Monaga, you would have the same record, but then the QRF has to come into value here. And the positions may not move a lot, but underdogs as it would be. I don't know anybody who would really want to play Lake Park Audubon in the playoffs, at least at this stage.
That's the hope, but it's when playoffs come around, everybody's going to be ready to go, and they're going to want to prolong their season. And all we've told the guys is we know we got Monaga Wednesday night, but then we stick to the motto, which is what I just said: anybody, anytime, any place, spot the ball. Doesn't matter who we get. We're looking probably at the 5 or 6 seed, and whoever we get doesn't matter, right? We're going to play our best football that we can, and we're going to play them the following Tuesday night and see what happens, But right now, all we're going to focus on is the immediate future, which is Monaga, and in our a regular season on a good note. Hopefully, a 3-game win streak, which would be awesome, and get hot at the right time and roll into the playoffs.
PJ Peterson, head coach, Lake Park Audubon Raider football. The Raider boys are 3-4 on the season, but getting hot at the right time, getting into the section playoffs. And Coach, good luck as you wrap up the regular season, and we'll look forward to talking about it and getting ready for playoffs.
Thank you. I look forward to it too.
Live, work, and play here in Hillsborough, North Dakota. The Hillsborough Economic Development Committee can assist you with information and support for business and housing. Experience Hillsborough. More at 104.
Welcome back to the Hillsborough EDC Coaches Show on YourLiveEvent.com. I'm Joe Lancello, and joining me is Peder Naatz, the coach of the Hawley Nugget football team. We're recording this before Hawley's game with Breckenridge on Wednesday night, but I know, Peder, your last couple of games were really close, and you could very well be sitting here right now with a 4-3 record as opposed to 2-5.
Yeah, that's the truth, but we are where we are, and this is what we have to deal with right now. So we have played some really good games the last couple of weeks, just came up on the short end of the stick. So here we are, and we're getting ready for Barnesville tonight, and we'll have to let her rip.
How about how your season's been going?
Well, it started out on a very positive note, and we thought we had something that was going to be potentially a team that would challenge for the section championship. And week one, we got a nice win over Pillager. And then after that, we kind of hit the skids. We lost 3 in a row. We didn't come out with a lot of focus and a lot of intensity in those next 3 games. And, if you're going to play halfways against Osakis or West Central, bad things are going to happen. And then the third loss in that string, I think Crookston was not sure if that was the first or second loss, but Crookston really took it to us here at home. We were flat the entire time. This Bull kid, who's really something, had a phenomenal night, and they just took it to us. And then we just kind of sputtered out there for about 3 weeks there. And then the second half at West Central, we really turned it on. We won the second half, but ended up losing the game 28-8 or 40-28. It was a close game anyway, a lot closer than it should have been the way we played in the first half. And we've really played good football since then, but we can't get over that hump. So DGF and Breckenridge were tough losses and different in a couple different ways too.
Who are some of the guys that have stood out for you this year?
Well, we've every single year there's at least one kid that we're like, where the heck did he come from? Where the heck did he come from, kid? Braxton Bow has had a fantastic year for us. He plays tight end. He plays a little bit of split out wide receiver as well sometimes. And he's one of our best defenders. He's a senior outside linebacker and tight end. And Braxton has really shined well this year. We knew he was going to be able to play and be efficient and effective, but he's been really one of our leaders by his play. He's not real vocal, but he's not a captain either, but he's really vocal. He loves the game. He understands it. He's always on and always ready to play. So he's done really well. As of late, John Vetter has picked it up quite a bit. Had a couple really good games the last 2 weeks, and Derek Tibbetts has really picked it up offensively as well for us. And Johnny and Derek are both big running backs. John Vetter's 235-pound kid. He's 6'3", and then Tibbetts comes in. He came in, I think, right around 200, 205, and he's a 6'1", 6'2" kid as well. So those guys have done some good things for us. We had to move some people around on our offensive line, just out of necessity, and just getting the different sized kid in a different spot. Smaller, more mobile kids get into our guard spot, or if they're in a 4-man front, we'll get our smaller kids to the tackle spot, so where they're uncovered and they can use their mobility more instead of trying to overpower a defensive tackle per se.
Weekend schedule just about over. Where do you think you're going to wind up there? Again, that's pending a game with Barnesville tonight.
Well, we're pretty much going to be toward the bottom. We're going to be 4 or 5, most likely a 5 seed. And that means we're going to end up either playing at Crookston or at Frazee. If it's Frazee, we won't know where we're going to play until probably sometime on Friday, because Frazee doesn't have a home field this year. They're doing some renovations there, and we're working on a new track and football facility, as well as some school improvements. So we don't know what's going to happen if it's them. Either way, we're going to be on the road. It'll be a road game regardless of where it is, if it's Frazee. And then if we end up playing Crookston, we'll have to go on the road on Tuesday night to Crookston. And that's they got knocked off by Pillager last week, so they may have a couple issues on their table right now too that are causing some problems. So it's when you're a 4 or 5 seed in the middle of the road there, anything can happen, and oftentimes it does.
And the cliche is that, well, you've got to play everybody to win a region anyway.
Yeah, no, you can't. There's no. One of our old secretaries of our section and region, Dale Scallard, he wasn't so worried about the seeds and, the seeding meetings and all that and who you're trying to avoid or dodge to get through there. He was all like, oh, heck, who can you lose to and still advance in the tournament? So you got to play everybody. You got to beat everybody to move on. So it really doesn't matter. I think there's a couple different teams, maybe even 4 teams that could win this section, and it's any of those top 4 teams. And we're going to be a 5 seed, and you got a chip and a chance. You got a game to play. You might as well play to win. So that's kind of where we're at. We've our Monday practice this week was really loose. We didn't have a lot of kids there because we had a JV game going on, but our kids were really pretty loose. They aren't jammed up and all crazy about that we have to go play Barnesville. We're gonna, like we said, we're gonna give them everything we got. We're gonna unload the clip and let them have it. It's like there's no sense saving anything, any of your magic plays or anything like that. So we're gonna throw everything from the toolbox at them and see where it gets us.
And that would be especially true for your seniors, I'm sure, because every game very well could be their last.
Well, that's just it. It was probably our last home game last week, and I don't know that everybody realized that. And we talk about it every year when we get going, especially with the seniors. This is your last season, and you have no idea how fast it's going to go. And here we are. It seems like it's been 3 weeks, and we're at the end of the season already. So it not only is it fast for us as coaches and parents and fans, it's even faster as you're in the middle of it, because you're just trying to work each day and you don't really keep track of what's happening. You're just moving on to the next game and the next day of practice, and it goes fast, man. And you gotta, I just really hope that our kids come out tonight and play hard and have a blast. Our days are numbered, and they always are for every single team except the one that wins the state championship at the end when you get to the playoffs.
Yeah, and even then, you blink, you miss it. It's just, it does go by that quickly, like you said.
Yeah, it really does. And, I've been at this a long time. Our staff has been together for a really long time, and we know that. We understand that. We know what kind of kids we have. We know that we have a chance, and we're not going to lie to our kids. We know we're not favored. We know that it's not likely that anybody thinks we're going to win. But you know what? You can be a world beater. You can surprise the country and come up with something. The USA hockey team did it in 1980. Why not us? Why not now, huh?
Absolutely. Peder, Naatz, thanks very much for your time. Best of luck to the Nuggets in the game with Barnesville and also in the playoffs.
All right. Sounds good. I appreciate your time. Thanks.
Okay. Peder Naatz, the coach of the Hawley Nuggets football team. We'll be back with more on the Hillsborough EDC Coaches Show on YourLiveEvent.com after this.
Just a reminder from the Hillsborough EDC Coaches Show, we'll have a special program on the North Dakota State Cross Country Meet. We'll preview that, and that will begin airing on Thursday. So make sure you watch out for that. And we'll also have another Hillsborough EDC Coaches Show next Wednesday night at 7 on YourLiveEvent.com. We'll talk some about the Minnesota High School football playoffs, the North Dakota football playoffs, which will be continuing, and also volleyball playoffs getting started as well across Minnesota, not quite yet in North Dakota. So we'll have plenty to talk about then. Until next week, I'm Joe Lancello. Thanks for watching.